Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 50 something, 58, 59, 52, episode 52 of the Yarnivore podcast. I am Sadie, I am your host. It is Friday, I keep having to check things because things tell me. It's Friday the 9th. It's Friday the 9th of December. I know I've been gone for a little bit. My mother was here. We had an awesome time. And I'm still playing with lighting here. It actually isn't too bad, except for the fact that I am not this white in real life. I am more this tone. But whatever. My internal goth is okay with this. Mom was here. We had a lot of fun. I have really bad bangs today as well. There is snow outside. Now, if you're not familiar with the Pacific Northwest, this doesn't happen very often. So the world has gone kind of sideways and everyone's like, snow! And then there's me from Canada, having spent 3 years in Minnesota, where of course they also get tremendous snow, and not a big deal. 2 inches, maybe 2 inches. It's not going to stick around. Whatever works, man. Whatever works. So that does lead to good knitting time. Now, all my finished objects have left the building. They left with my mother. I finished them. Their presents, they all went the way of the dodo. So I will do a cut here. I'm going to throw them in, and then I will talk a little bit about them. Okay, so if I did this correctly, you should have seen 1 calorimetry and 3 pantas. I think I did 3 pantas. Did I do 3 or 2? I have to look at my notes here. I have 3 pantas written down. Now the calorimetry that I did was actually a hack that I've used many times from the Nitty pattern. Whoa, my phone is like blowing up here. Okay. This is what happens when snow happens. I'm going to ignore it until we're done. So the calorimetry is a free pattern from Nitty. It was released several years ago, and a lot of people have had issues with the width around the head. Now what I do is when I'm casting on, I check it on my own head, because I don't care about gauge. I don't care if I get gauge, and I know that if I have it in multiples of 2, I can make it work. So you can make the pattern work as written with multiples of 2, and you just change the number of repeats you do with the short rows. For instance, it says 15. I think I did 10 sets on the calorimetry I would have put in here. It was hand spun. I'm giving that to my niece. Then there were several pantas. 2 were for my nieces. 1 is for my sister-in-law. And they love them and they request them. Now, you may be asking, what the heck is a panta? Well, I don't know that it has a Ravelry pattern. It started in about 2006 or 2007. Hold on. Go away, pop-up. It started in about 2006 or 2007. There was, on Craftster, someone saw a pattern and decided to do a hack for it, and the finished word is panta. So everybody was making pantas, and I made many pantas, and my sister-in-law saw my panta, and she wanted a panta, so I made her a panta. Subsequently, every year she asks for more because she loves them, and they wear out, and as she's moved up in the corporate world, she needs more dressy pantas. Yes, that's dressy. Which means you've moved from acrylic to something with cashmere content, or silk, or whatever. It just needs to look a little more classy than your average everyday red heart. So I did 3. They're all out of hand spun. And then for one of them, my mom, who is here, crocheted some flowers, and we put some flowers on one. So those were done. I finished the pair of Croy socks. I gave them to my mom. She wore them. I did not take a picture. They fit. She loves them. It's a pair of socks. That would be pair 15 out of 16 in 2016 or 16. I'm not sure if it's 15 or 16. But I have a pair that I'm almost done, and those will be done before the end of the year. So I am going to make that goal. Tracy, making the goal. I know she completed in like June, and then I was right there, and then my sock mojo went away, but it's coming back, and I'm going to ride that wave because the hubby needs several pairs of socks. Because I think he has two hand knit pairs that have not been completely destroyed. Because he wears them into the ground, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining. So those are my FOs. Now let's get right into the whips, because today is actually going to be a bit of a shoe. I have quite the news and the misc. So like I said, the Panta is a free pattern. It's available on craftster.org. It's quite simple. It's literally, if you know how to knit, purl, and increase, you're good. And decrease. Knit, purl, increase, decrease. I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles. These are just the ones I had around. This is way too long. I should be using straights, but whatever. I'm lazy. And because I did one for my sister-in-law out of this, and I really liked it, I decided to do one for myself. And of course, I'm to there. And it's a great day to be making it because it makes me think, hey, I would really use this on a day like today. I am using leftover handspun. This was Wool Gatherings. It is the handspun I made my sister-in-law's out of. And I forget what this is. It should be in my Ravelry page. I don't know if I put it in my Ravelry page. But it's handspun. I made the Girl from Nantucket mitts out of it. Then I had a buttload left over. Since I gave those mitts to my sister-in-law, I figured, hey, matching sets. I made her Panta, and I still have a bunch left, so I'm going to make a Panta for myself. Because they're quick. I did two in one evening, but they were bulky. This one I worked on. I went out for coffee with some friends last night, and that's how far I got. That's what happens when you have coffee with people. So this is one of the things I'm working on, which I rather enjoy. Again, if you Google Panta, P-A-N-T-A, I'm pretty sure the first one that comes up is the link to the pattern. And it's free, and it's awesome, and it doesn't matter what yarn you use, just match your needles to your yarn and you're good. I've made so many over the years that it's insane. Next up is the Pebble Socks. It is a pattern by Mina Phillip, who is also known as the Knitting Expat, who didn't just, but has landed in New York, where she is now living. Apologize, I need to redo my nail polish. It's a textured pattern. You can see the little pearl bumps. They're a little less poignant in this because this is knit out of sock blank. This is the first sock. This is the second sock. I'm using US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I'm doing a magic loop. Now, I did not do the short row heel that it called for. I found that I don't like them very much. I'll do a fish lips kiss heel occasionally, but for the most part, yeah, no. Give me a heel flap and I'm a happy gal. I'll do an afterthought heel for stripes to keep the striping going, but whatever. And this is Gail's Art Sock Blank, the single knit sock blank, 75-25 superwash merino nylon in the brass octopus colorway, and it looks like this. This is what I have left. Of course, I'm making these super long. So yeah, I guess I'd say I have about 3-4 inches done. I need to get to here on my hand. Wait, right there. That wrinkle, I get to that wrinkle and I do the toe. That I have it measured. You know what I need to do? I need to go to my tattoo artist and I need to get like marks put on my hands for where things go. Next time I'm home, I will totally have that happen. So, yes, this is going to get done. This could even get done this weekend, maybe. This will be pair 16, and then I am done. 16 pairs in 2016. Not that that's going to stop me from keeping going, because, like I said, my husband needs more socks. I don't know that I do, but as I was washing my socks, I was like, oh, there's a couple pairs that are going to die soon, so I might need more socks. And then there's my mom, who always needs socks. Well, she doesn't need them, but she always wants socks. So there's no end to how many socks I can make. Okay, next up, whoa, do not fall on the coffee. I will cry. There will be actual tears on the podcast. My Fat Squirrel Fibers bag. The other two are stored in my Bird Leg Bags canine bag. This is the Leaf Wreath Shawl by Haley Sang Sather, and it's based on a Niebling called Blattkranz. Horrible German. My horrible German. I can't speak German to save my life unless I'm singing along to something, in which case then I just get really animated and it's humorous. One moment, please. Okay, so that was my mother, who was like, oh, you're podcasting. But so this is the Leaf Wreath shawl. It is a wedding shawl for my bestest friend, Lily. Sadly, I do not think I'm going to be able to go to said wedding because life sucks in that regard. Because someone has to be here for the pets, and that will be me. So I finished chart A, chart B, and chart C. So here's a lifeline. I believe I had many discussions about lifelines in the comments. I was asked about lifelines. So when I finished chart A and started chart B, I had a lifeline in, which I pulled when I finished chart C. So this little transition chart here is chart C. And there are beads. There's some beads. There's some beads. There's not as many beads as were on my shawl, which was insane. This one only has like 1,000. Now I am using the Unique Sheep EOS, which is a 50 silk, 50 merino, superwash merino, and Earth Fairy 80 beads in the ivory colorway. Doing it on a 3.25 millimeter needle. These are my signatures. Apparently I use these to knit wedding shawls. It's a thing. And this is in the colorway Irish Linen. It looks a little dirtier than it actually is. It's more of like an antiqued linen with a hint of purple. And my major goal with this is to... I'm not letting myself work on anything else until I finish a chart. But the next chart is super long, so I'm going to hack chart D into 2 parts while I'm knitting it. So tonight when I go to hang out and do stuff, like on the couch, I will mark off on chart D where the middle is, and once I get to that point, then I can switch and work on something else, because there's only so much you can take of those heavy patterned things. Moving on, my last work in progress in my Mina Makes bag is my Garter Goodness. Now, I did get a question about this in my Q&A thread, which is available on Ravelry. In the Yarnivore group, you can ask me any questions and I'll answer them for you here on the podcast. I am currently on the last skein, which is Stellar, and... or is it Interstellar? No, it's Stellar. Quit. Bad camera. So I'm on the last skein. It is massive. It is more like a blanket than a shawl. This, of course, is the For Megan Knit Along, which is to celebrate the life of Megan of the Cyborg Craft Room, who passed away this year. And it utilizes the last 4 skeins of her yarn that I had in my stash, and I will wear it proudly. And it's massive. It's Garter Goodness by Stephen West. I love it. And so I had a question from Naughty Knits about it, which was, how did you do your transitions? So I did 2 different styles of transition on this one. The first transition I did was up in here, which you can kind of see these 3 stripes here, because I wanted to throw those in there. I looked at the picture and I thought that is way too much of just one color, so I threw these rows of the second color in here. There are 3, 1, 2, 3. Those are 8-row repeats, separated by 8-row repeats. So I did 8 rows, and then I did 8 rows, and then I did 8 rows, and I just carried it along in the I-cord. And then when I got to a certain point where I had like a little ball, I decided to do 2-row repeats to do the color shift. So as I shift into the new color in here, there's the 2-row repeats, so 1 back, 1 back, 1 back, until I ran out of yarn, and then I snipped off what little I had left and continued onward. And then this transition, I did the same thing, except I ran out after doing 1. So I just cut everything and moved it over to do the back and forth. It doesn't really matter if you manage to make the 2 or not. It still looks good. And then the joining of these two are actually really close. I only had enough to do 1 back and forth row. You can barely tell it's happening right in here. But it's right in here. But it did happen. And I got 1 back and forth, and then 1 back and forth, and then I switched over. Honestly, and there's my ends. I'm carrying up my ends in my I-cord because it's easiest. And that way it doesn't matter if you have to cut and move something to the other side. So I just wait until it looks like I have a little ball. And you can be the judge. I mean, you'll know how long a row is taking out of your ball at a certain point. You just start to know these things. And so I would just start alternating when I get close to the end until I hit the end. And if I needed to, move it to the other side, because you can always carry those up. I'm trying to use everything I can, so it's just more of an eyeball thing. I hope that helps. The transitions are like... The other thing is, because I only had the 4 skeins, I planned it so that the transitioning colors had the previous color in them, because the starting color didn't necessarily have anything from the last color in it, but it did have stuff from the peach, and then the peach had stuff from the next one, so they transitioned well, so it wasn't as shocking a contrast as, say, going from a white to a black. And this thing is massive, and like, here's what I had left over from my second yarn. That's all I had left over. And this is my 3rd yarn. Did I have any left over from the first? I don't think I had any left over from the first. Not enough to make a little thingy. So that is where I'm at with that. I'd like to finish it by the end of the year. So I think my major thing is going to be, I'm going to be cleaning off the needles. I'm not even going to lie to you. At the end of the year here, I'm cleaning off needles as much as I can. I want to finish all the things, which is problematic because I still have so much stuff to do. Okay, now, next up, we have the November Knit Along giveaway. So I did not finish. I participated in my knit along. I didn't finish my knit along. I feel really bad for the fact that I didn't finish. I wanted to. I just didn't get there. I tried. I have 2 sweaters on the needles. You think I'd be able to get it there. So for the knit along finished object, We had a couple. We had 7, so I am not the 6. We had 6 finishers. So, yeah, we had 6 finishers. One moment. I forgot to grab the yarn. I'm falling apart. Not really. Okay, so now I am a little more organized. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finished objects. The winner will get this skein of Original Scream Queen in Siren Sports. I hold it back here. That's what it looks like. Alrighty. So I need random.org. Right? That's the random one. Random number generator. I need to cut my bangs. It's getting a little too long here. So I will do two, 2, 7. Generate. The winner is number 7. Number 7 is Calico Kitty, who did the Indigo Pie sweater from Knitty. The back is supposed to be longer than the front, and there isn't supposed to be buttons on it. The front bottom is meant to swoop a bit. I'm hoping blocking will stretch it down since it's big in the shoulder bust area. Awesome. Here is the finished sweater. So Calico Kitty 6, who has the cutest little puppy dog. What is your name? I'm assuming Debbie. Debbie. Love Olive. Oh, there's lots of kitties and puppies. Okay, I can't handle it. Anyway, Debbie, Calico Kitty 6, shoot me off a PM with your address and I will get that in the mail to you. I did want to say a thank you. I got a package from a viewer who is very lovely. I had very much fun opening it. I haven't had a chance to send you a PM, but I will try and get that done this weekend. It's a very busy weekend around here because of snow, and Christmas because I have to finish all the Christmas shopping so I can get stuff off to the family in Utah land. Now, what's next? There will be 2 knit-alongs kicking off in the new year that I am part of. One, I'm going to put this over here. One is a co-hosted with the lovely Tracy of the Passionate Spinner podcast, and we are doing a Use Your Books knit-along. It's going to run for the whole year. I will be drawing monthly for it as well. She's drawing monthly for it. I'm drawing monthly for it. I think I'm going to take a note from her book. 1 month will be some sort of yarn. 1 month will be some sort of pattern. Now, for hers, you have to use physical books. For mine, I have a lot of ebooks that I buy, and I don't necessarily buy the print one at the same time, or sometimes, what have you. So, here's the deal. You have to actually own the book, the ebook, or the physical book, or the pamphlets, or the, it doesn't actually have to be a book. It can be a magazine, or one of those Barocco ones that has like 5 patterns in it, or one of the patents puts them out as well. It just can't be a single pattern. And when it comes to ebooks, please make sure you own that ebook. I know they sell the single patterns, but I can go in and check if the book is actually in your library. So make sure you own that book and not just the pattern. And yeah, that will be the rules for me. I will go in and make sure you have the ebooks, and I will delete anyone who puts something in and it's a single pattern. It can come from books, magazines, ebooks, pamphlets, artist collective books. the main point of this is a year-long knit-along to actually use the stash of patterns we have stored up, because we have so many. And if you like over here, see those top three here? This is all magazines, and these two are all books. They're all books, all knitting books, and there's lots of things I want to knit in them. I bought these books because I loved them and because I wanted to knit in them, and I have like a library in Ravelry of knitting books, ebooks that have, I've reviewed them or I've bought them or what have you, and I want to use the patterns in them. So if you're like me and that's what you want to accomplish, come join our Use Your Books Knit Along. We have not figured out a hashtag. That will come later. There will just be an FO thread in my group, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to isolate each month by posting and then like doing a cutoff between those numbers and drawing from there, or if you can build on that and such. A little more thinking to go on before that happens, but I will be opening the thread at the end of this month. And it will be fun, so come knit from your books. You can knit what you like, you can do anything you want, but knit from your books. The other knit along I'm doing is with knitting breakfast at, I want to say breakfast at Tiffanys, but that's not right. Knitting with Tiffany? Yes, knitting with Tiffany, I believe. Tiffany, I'm blanking, I'm sorry. We are doing a stripy socks knit along, and so there will be that, and it is running through January. You get extra points if you use my stuff, Fiber Nymph stuff, I believe. Is it Susan too? It should have Desert Vista on there. I'm a bad podcaster. I have to look this up. I have to look up what we were talking about. It's knitting at Tiffanys. Yes. Okay. And Lisa and Susan earn extra entries. Any self-striping can be used, but me, Susan, and Lisa, you get an extra bonus entry in the Knitting with Tiffanys, the Knitting with Tiffanys podcast group. So of course, go watch the podcast, go join the group, and join my group. We're looking at doing this January and February. Those are her rules. I am adding Jinx yarn to mine. I haven't messaged Laura to tell her about this, but I will. So you also get extra entries in mine if you use Jinx yarn, because she's wonderful and I love her stuff, and I have a couple of her stripes, I think, and I really want to knit them, so this will be my motivator to get those out of stash and actually knit them. That, and you can never go wrong with Desert Vista. So if you're already doing the month to month of Desert Vista, January, February, you've got 2 entries, right? And so enter in Knitting at Tiffanys, enter in my thread. Again, that thread will be open in January, which will be awesome. And the last thing I want to do is a little review. It's going to go along with a giveaway. I will open the thread for the giveaway after I post this episode. But I was contacted to do a review of a book, and I'm just going to move this out of my way. I have it up on my iPad for everybody. It is called, I don't want to screw up the title here for you. Come here. The snow is slowing down my internet. Go figure. Who knew snow could do that? Come here. Apparently it really wants to show me the thing I was working on. Can we go to the start here? Where's my go-to button? Well, I will talk to you briefly while I get to the front here. So, I was contacted to do a review about this book, And it just seemed to happen to fall into my lap at the right point in time, because I've been actually interested in possibly learning this, and it was kind of perfect. It is about double knitting. It is extreme double knitting. Now, I'm not sure what makes it, well, it goes into why it's extreme double knitting. It's double or nothing reversible knitting for the adventurous, which the author Alasdair Post-Quinn calls extreme double knitting. Now, I'm going to show you the cover here. Now, look at the shawl here. Look at the shawl. Look at the intensity of that shawl. I love that shawl. So, I have been thinking about double knitting for a while, and I've been thinking I want to learn how to double knit. And I thought maybe I should take a craftsy class, or maybe I should look at something. And then this book came, and I was like, okay, well, I will look at this book. And as I read the book, and it's quite the chunky book, which I enjoy. This is not a book about double knitting, like, here are some patterns, and then at the back we show you a couple of techniques, and we hope you can parse part A from part B. What I like about this book is it works more like a workshop book. I'm not sure if you've ever done a workshop with a book that's attached, or, you know, workshops with that come with the supplies or the syllabus or what have you. It really takes you, chapter 1 to chapter 2, really takes you up a technique. So you could probably start with chapter 1, do chapter 1, and then move to chapter 2, do chapter 2, and continue onward. Now, I'm sure you could jump ahead a chapter or two, but I really feel like it gives you the components and then the knowledge to continue onward. Now, there are some insane patterns. Here's the thing about double knitting. Whenever I think about double knitting, the only thing that comes into my head is scarves. I thought that double knitting stopped and ended at scarves, and I love the scarves. I love the aesthetic you get from it. So, like, I was good with that. I was good with learning this technique so that I could knit scarves. But they've got hats, too. That gorgeous shawl from the cover. You've got cowls, you've got lace, you've got color work, you've got mittens. Like, I never thought it could branch out into that. Now, there's a note from the author about extreme double knitting and how everything came to be. A lot of explanation on foundations and techniques and vocabulary that's used. Now, without giving too much away, there are gorgeous full color pictures of how to do each technique, and they're not just in the beginning or in the end. Like, it's not like, here's 4 techniques and we're going to let you fly by the seat of your pants. This is a chapter about this. Here are some patterns that utilize this. Now let me walk you through each of these steps with some great picture tutorials. And the picture tutorials are the bomb diggity when it comes to this. There is so much explanation and so much visual meat that you can really understand what you're doing without, like, freaking out. Because there are things that would freak me out about double knitting, and I find that all of these pictures that detail it, they really set my mind at ease a bit. Like undoing your work, fixing your work, there's how to fix it. And then, so once you get through all of that and you've read all of that, there's patterns. This would be the first pattern you happen upon, which is called abacus, and I really like that. I really dig that. I would probably knit that. So I am probably going to start working through this personally in the new year. I don't know how far I'll get into it because, well, you know, it may or may not be my thing once I complete a few things, but, like, this is also very gorgeous. This is a very gorgeous scarf. Now, if you already know how to double knit, this may not be the book for you. It may be too much theory or too much explanation. But the other thing is, there are so many color not color work, double knitting techniques and double knitting ideas here that I've never seen before, that I honestly think it would be beneficial to anyone who's looking to expand into the double knitting techniques, etc. How to close your seams, like hats, lace, mitts, it goes into everything, and I really appreciate just the depth that it goes into, be it multiple colors. Like, this shawl is insane. Let's just take a moment to realize how insane that shawl is. It's insane, but it's awesome. So I look forward to getting into this. And I think that if you are looking for a new technique to try, double knitting just might be up your aisle. Now, the wonderful author, as well as the company producing this, has offered to give us, here, the Yarnivore viewers, a copy. So I am going to be opening a thread along with this, so you can enter to win a copy, and then I'll be drawing in the new year. I will record one more podcast here before the new year. I'll probably record next week, and then I will take a hiatus. So anywho, I will be drawing for it next week, so you have from now until Thursday midnight next week, and I will draw a winner for that. This is pretty much everything I have to say in this episode. It's a little disjointed, and I do apologize for that. I hope you are staying warm. I hope that the snow is not messing with your business as much as it's messing with mine. And I hope your holiday is going smoothly. See everybody next week.